So this is potash that I made. Now that I've made potash, what I want to try to do is turn it into potassium. After all, potassium gets its name from potash. I've managed to make the potash. What I really want to do is see if I can get potassium. So I'm linking to two videos below. One of them is by Cody Reeder of Cody's Lab, and the other is by a guy named Nighthawk in Light. So Cody made elemental potassium by reacting calcium chloride from water softener salt with sodium metal. And Nighthawk in Light managed to produce potassium vapor using calcium carbonate or potassium carbonate, which is potash, and reacting it with carbon under high temperatures. He managed to produce the vapor, but he never managed to isolate actual elemental potassium. Well, I don't have any sodium, but I do know how to react metals under high heat with carbon, because I've done that when I reduced my zinc and produced that zinc metal, which is inside this little elbow here. So that was kind of jazzy when I did that. The other thing is that this reaction takes place at an extremely high temperature, high enough that it's above the vaporization point of potassium. So essentially I have to distill the potassium off of the reaction, and I've done that too. So I know I can produce at least 1500 degrees because I melted this iron in the process, and I know how to put together a distillation setup. So here's my final product, my retort reaction vessel coming up here to what's essentially my condenser tube. One of the things I did learn with the zinc thing is that you don't really need a long condenser tube, because I think potassium boils at 799 C. I'll look that up and tell you later. This thing cools off really pretty quickly, and so you don't need a long condenser tube in order to condense vaporizing metal. So what we'll do is we'll fill this sucker up with potash and with carbon, and we'll put it in the small can and give it a bake. So this is potassium carbonate. Its molecular weight is 138. Of that 138, there's two potassiums at 39 each, so that's around 80. So that's actually about 60% of the weight of this stuff is potassium. That means that of that 42 grams, there's, I don't know, 25 grams of elemental potassium in this mixture. There's 3 oxygens at 16 each and 1 carbon at 12. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that I've got a significant excess of carbon in order to strip those oxygens off of that potassium carbonate. So here we are back at the scene of the crime with my brown potash. I've already mixed my white potash with carbon in the upcoming attempt to essentially smelt reduce potash to produce potassium. I'm out of charcoal dust, but I do have my activated charcoal, and it is just carbon, so let's put it in excess of that. We'll mix it up, and then we'll drop this stuff all into retorts and give it a smelt and see what happens. White potash, about 42 grams with an excess of carbon. Brown potash, 22 grams with an excess of carbon. So here's my experimental setup, as it were. This is the white potash, this is the brown potash. I've got to kick this thing up pretty hot to have any chance of pushing this thing to actually react. I'm not sure how hot I have to get, but maybe 12 to 1500 degrees C. The weak point of my setup are these pieces of brass, because they're going to melt at 900 C, and I can easily achieve that. I've done it before. Potassium's boiling point is 750 C, so I don't have to break 900 to get the potassium to get through this elbow and into the condenser. You guys might remember from the zinc video that most of the condensation actually occurred in the elbow. It didn't actually go into the condenser. Okay, so let's open our white potash first. Easier said than done. As you can see, it got pretty hot. It didn't melt anything, although I think stuff came out the bottom. Looks like my brass did not melt.
Trust.
Okay, the brown potash is similarly still got a fair amount of product in it. It's all melty, so I did actually manage to chemically transform the potash, at least to some degree, but it doesn't appear that I managed to smelt it. One thing we will do is put some water on all this, just in case, because potassium does have a particular affinity for water. Not in a good way. It's very reactive with water. Aha! There's potassium in there. Look at that. Damn! Actually, that was a potassium reaction. I can't see it, but I can hear it. Okay, well, the fact that I managed to produce it doesn't mean I managed to produce it quantitatively, so I'm not done. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There was definitely potassium in there. I just got to figure out how to make more of it. Well, I never actually saw potassium come out of the brown potash retort, but I heard potassium in the brown potash retort. So as a proof of concept, I think it may actually be possible to do this. I'm just going to have to try again. I'm thinking that my issue with trying to reduce potassium out of that plant-derived potash is that I really don't know what was in that product, that brown potash. I mean, I know that it had some potassium carbonate in it, but it probably had some sodium carbonate in it too, and frankly, it probably had some calcium in it. So I don't know what caused that hissing noise when I quenched that reaction vessel. So I'm going to come back to the base principles, and here's a nice big reaction vessel. Pure potassium carbonate. Pure sodium carbonate. Right there. I got me some powdered charcoal, and what I'm going to do, see if I can get this in view. I've got my vessel there with a nice long pipe on it. I'll put that in the big can, and I'll think of this sort of as a reflux condenser. So if I manage to reduce the metal, it'll come up the pipe, and someplace it will either crystallize or fall back down. So if I get the metal, it'll either be in the pipe or it'll be in the vessel at the end of the process. And you know what? If it doesn't work, then I'm going to give it up as a bad job and decide it's something that I can't do. So last try. Okay, in we go. We'll go ahead and put these retorts in here and let them get nice and hot. We'll let them gasify a bit, and we'll see what we get. It doesn't take very long to get these things to start outgassing. It's been less than 5 minutes. We'll just keep going until they stop making gas. See, that's 400. That's 520. That is a burp, and you can already see. You can see the little sparks, right? That's no, the gas. The gas is forcing. Look, there's a little spout of carbon. See that? Yeah. That's because of the force of the gas pushing the carbon up the tube. Yep, that's too bad. I'm losing reaction products, which makes it really annoying.
When is the EPA going to come in?
So if I can point out, carbon is a 100%, or charcoal is a 100% carbon neutral fuel because it is derived from plants. So I am not increasing my carbon footprint here, unlike those pukes who do this with propane. Just saying. This is an ecologically sensitive experiment that we are running here.
Are you putting that speech on YouTube?
I've actually thought about putting that pitch on YouTube. Potassium is red when it burns, sodium is yellow when it burns, so you can see the difference in the two flames. That's actually kind of a nice demonstration. Of course, I don't really want the sodium and potassium going out. I want them to stay in the vessels. I don't know if you can see, but I got a lot of yellow flame coming out. I think I may have burned a hole in my sodium vessel. In fact, I've got a lot of purple flame coming out too. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I burned a hole in my sodium vessel. That is a sodium fire. That's cool, actually. Look at that. That's a sodium fire. Hey, that's cool. Look at that total coolness. Is that like total coolness or what? That is cool. I have no idea what I'm looking at, but it's cool. Yeah, so that bright yellow flame there, that's my sodium reaction product. Oh well, we'll see what's in the potassium container. There it is. That's what happens when you get things too hot. I'm afraid damn, I just bought that pipe. I'm afraid this is that's a toasted reaction vessel. Let's do a post-mortem on this particular session. So there's the top of my retort. The rest of the top of my retort is still on the top of my retort. I've melted retorts before, as you know, but I've never caused a complete breakdown in the integrity of the vessel before, so I guess congratulations. Let's open up the potassium vessel. Maybe. I don't know if I can get it open. See, there's something in there that's hissing. Hear that? There may be potassium metal in there, but I just haven't figured out how to recover it in sufficient quantity. I just don't know what else would make that sound. If that's potassium metal, I've got hydrogen gas coming out. Yep. Look at that. I had potassium metal. It's still burning in there. See that? So I did produce potassium metal. I just wasn't able to isolate it. Good proof of concept, though. At least it lets me know that I can do it. Apparently I can't do it in recoverable quantities, but I can do it. So that's actually kind of a fun result. I'm glad I did that. I should also tell you this thing's gotten warm, so that should have happened too. That's part of the reaction. Still not done. Still making hydrogen. So I'm going to call that a successful experiment, even though I wasn't able to actually recover the potassium. Obviously I didn't do it with the sodium, so oh well. But look, see, I'm still making flame down there. I'm still making hydrogen. So I did manage to recover metallic potassium out of that reaction. Not enough that I could actually show it, but I demonstrated it. So I'm going to call that one a wrap for now. I only did that just for fun. I wanted to take the potash that I made from the plants and make metallic potassium, and even though I had to use some actual sodium carbonate rather than potash just to be sure I was actually doing it, I did manage it. So you could say that I kind of in a way produced metallic potassium from plants, and that's what I wanted to do. So I'm going to call that one a wrap. I want to thank you for watching. I probably won't repeat that experiment because I don't really need potassium. It was just for fun. So anyway, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends if you want, or don't if you don't want. That's fine too. I got a mess I got to clean up down here. Thanks very much for watching, and have a great day.